Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rise Together. Very excited today to introduce to you Mr. Terrence Ward from Store 18 in Newport, Arkansas. Of course, I'm going to give him a second to say hello and kind of talk about why we're having the conversation, because there's some interesting things going on in Newport, Arkansas, but also with Terrence. So I'll let you say hello.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's kind of like the Truman Show. Wherever you're at.
Terrence and I basically started a conversation recently, I guess, right? I mean, I don't know how recent you want to say it, but just talking about different things via social media and those kind of things. Really saw different things that Terrence was up to, because he actually is a film. What would be your official title? Producer, editor, everything. Professional.
Yeah, just an amateur filmmaker, I guess you could call it.
Amateur, whatever. You've got an award-winning voice, right? An award-winning MC and all these different things. So of course we got to hear that right now. We got to hear give me a good welcome for this podcast, even though we've already started.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the official Rise Together podcast with Serge Jeff Berg right here on Walmart.
That's awesome.
I'll give you a tip. That's my fake voice. That's how I answer the telephone. Hey, how are you today?
Sure. I think it's funny. A lot of people know what we're talking about. Like you have different voices. You have the voice, the customer concerned voice, and you have talking with just your friend's voice, and things do change because we want to make sure that our tone is right for the occasion. So I think that's pretty intriguing in and of itself. But we're not going to talk about that. So let's talk about this: who Terrence is, where Newport, Arkansas is, and what's going on in your world right now.
Well, again, my name is Terrence. I'm an assistant store manager in Newport, Arkansas. It's store number 18. That's right, 1-8. We were the 18th store to be opened by Mr. Walton. I believe it was in the 1964, 1965, I believe, when our store was open. I could be off a couple of years there, but I digress. The interesting thing about Newport is actually where Sam began. He opened his first Benjamin Franklin's 5 and Dime store in Newport, right just not even a few blocks from where the current store is now. And we are in our third store for store number 18. We're at our third location. So this store was built about 5 years ago. So there's a lot of history in Newport, not just for the community, but for Walmart in and of itself, because that's where Sam began.
Yeah. What a great, thought process that you threw us in there with Ben Franklin stores. So many individuals like to throw out there that Sam, didn't hit his stride, wasn't the successful entrepreneur until Walmart in 1962. But the reality is he had a dozen plus Ben Franklin stores prior to that and was pretty successful in that right as well. So he founded that in the 50s. Don't hold me to those dates, but the Ben Franklin store. And like you just said, his first store was in Newport, Arkansas. So that's kind of a fun little piece of history there for sure.
Yeah, we've got an amazing group of associates. Some of them have been at the current location since the original store opened. They're in the Village Mall location, which is where the old store is currently located at. We've got some 30-year associates. I think our oldest associate as far as tenure is Becky Ellis. She's our training coordinator, and she has hired pretty much everybody that has been in that store, including some of the assistant managers there. So it's some interesting stories, a lot of history. We are actually, I think, one of the only Walmart stores that has a museum dedicated to Mr. Sam's story at the front entrance. And you've probably seen some of the pictures or some of the videos that we've done on that through our Instagram or through our Facebook page. And it's an amazing store to work at. And I'm only successful because my associates are successful. And I'm a new assistant. I was an AP manager before that. I get the AP side of it, but operations is all new to me. And
well, you see, now you've opened up 2 doors. I've got too many questions I want to ask now. So, of course, we've got the Newport Museum idea or side of it. And I heard, it was one of those funny things. Kingfisher is where Sam was born. And so they talk about having a museum there, but it's really just like like a plane, like a slide glass like thing. So that'll be something to check out. But you also talked about Instagram, Facebook. So give us a shout out so we all know where to find you.
Walmart 0018. That's how you can find us on Instagram.
So we got to make sure that happens. Walmart 0018 is the Instagram username. And then on Facebook, of course, would be the same thing. Facebook.com/Walmart. I'm assuming 0018.
I believe it's just Walmart 18 is the
okay.
Facebook.
There you go. So we'll find those and put them in the links below so that you can follow along all of Terrence's great stuff and things that he's doing, which is actually more of, again, why we're talking. One of the exciting things that we've been trying to accomplish with Rise Together is having these conversations with associates. The whole point of this was to be a show by associates, for associates, to talk about all the different opportunities in the company, to talk about all the great things that Walmart's doing. Love, #Spark Kindness, and that whole movement that's happening right now, or when this episode airs, maybe it's a movement that is growing still. All those different things are happening, and it's really, really exciting, and that's something that Rise was all about. We wanted to be a part of seeing those kind of things take place, but also Rise was about finding associates who are, if you will, our everyday associate that do incredibly cool things. And you happen to be one of those individuals. You have a movie that just came out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Arkansas Valor?
It was selected for an official selection for a movie festival over in California, and then won an award out of Los Angeles for that same film. So
that is awesome. Give us the synopsis. What got you into that? How did that happen? And I know you've been a part of other things. I know you've had cameos in movies and parts in movies. So tell us a little bit about that life.
It's interesting. I own my own voiceover business. It employs one person, me. So it started off when I was 16. I began doing ring announcing for a wrestling company, and then my dad's a veteran of the U.S. Army National Guard. Spent 15 years in the military. I've got over 18 family members that have served or are currently serving, and that led to Arkansas Valor and trying to capture those stories of our nation's veterans and their service to the armed forces, which coincidentally, there's a project from the Library of Congress for the Veterans History Project. So when I capture these stories, I send a copy to them for preservation, as well as submit those films for different types of film festivals and public viewing. Once all the festivals are cleared, I make it public so everybody can see the story and share the experiences of our World War II veterans, our Vietnam veterans, Korean veterans, our veterans of today of modern conflicts. They're incredible stories, and there's so much that we miss out on. And it's the same as some of our associate veterans. I talked to one of our veteran store associates yesterday about that same project, and we've got so many great stories of individuals and their service to our country and our customers that are just out there waiting to be captured, waiting to be told. And this is just one way that I can do that.
So one of the things that we always want to cover, we talk about your Walmart story, and then we talk about, leadership lessons that you've learned. You started out doing the voice thing at 16. When did you come to Walmart?
This is actually my second time with the company. When I was 18, I hired on at Store 57 in Walnut Ridge, which is actually where I live now. I started as an electronics associate, and then I went on to service desk. I was there for like 9 months, and then went into a career in law enforcement for 4 years and came back to Walmart. When I started back with Walmart in 2012, I started as a receiving associate. I was in that job for maybe 30 days, then promoted to asset protection associate, which was enjoyable for me because it meant a $2 pay raise and a guaranteed 40 hours a week. So I was ecstatic. Benefits, health coverage, better pay. I spent a year and 2 months at store 128 on Parker Road in Jonesboro. That promoted me to asset protection manager at store number 91 in Forest City. I spent 2.5 years there, transferred to Blyville, store number 62 as the asset protection manager. But I stepped down from that role at Blyville, moved back to Walnut Ridge, and I was an overnight support manager for a year and a half, and then spent a half a year as a day support at the same store at 57 before I was talked into trying to apply for an assistant manager spot. I had some assistants at 57 that knew of my previous roles with the company and knew my leadership skill and knew my abilities and said, hey, apply for it. And I did, and I got it.
That's outstanding. And so this is your first assistant manager role then back with the company this go around.
Yeah, I mean, technically the APM is now an assistant
Sure.
manager, but it was a different scope at that time.
So, okay, so there's all kinds of stuff there, and absolutely appreciate you being, vulnerable and just sharing with us your story. What are some lessons that you learned through some of that process, this journey you've had with Walmart? Some of the things you've heard from other leaders, some of the things you personally experienced?
Don't always get upset when you're asked to take a step back. Don't always get upset when you're told that maybe you would be better suited doing this. We know in our heads what we want to do. We're dead set on getting there, but sometimes we get that tunnel vision and we need to take those blindsiders off so that we can see the whole picture of what's going on. Take a step back, maybe have whoever's telling you this, whether it's your store manager, your market manager, whoever the person is, well, tell me why you feel that way, so that you can better understand what they're trying to do for you. Because most leaders out there in our stores want what's best for you, the associate, wants what is best for their stores, and they're going to want to put the best person for the job in that position. So the more we understand our business, the better we can run the business. But one other thing that I was given, and it wasn't a Walmart leader that gave me this, I actually received this when I was going through some law enforcement training. Our instructor told us to always be fair, firm, and consistent. And I think that's pretty much self-explanatory. I want a leader who is fair. I want a leader who is firm, that's going to treat everybody the same, which leads into consistency. I mean, the policy is the way it is. I mean, and the procedures are the way they are. We are constantly changing. I understand that. And that sometimes doesn't make us feel that the company's being consistent, but those changes are oftentimes for good. And they make us as a better company and turn us into better persons for our customers and our associates. So be fair, firm, and consistent to your associates. So that way they know who you are as a leader. They know who you are as a person, and they can gauge whether or not this is something that you can help them with, or if they need to go to someone else for that type of assistance.
That's great. Fair, firm, and consistent. Firm, I appreciate quite a bit, because often we think firm and we think mean or stressful, or some of these things. I was talking to someone yesterday that said people lead through sick management, stressful, intimidation, or crisis. And I said, that's poor management. That's not where we want to be. And that's not what firm means. Firm does not mean any of those things. Firm means that we're going to hold to, our process. We're going to hold to the things that we need to be accountable for, not these other crazy things. And when we're consistent on that, success happens. And so that's pretty great stuff right there. Very great stuff. So what, in this whole journey, I mean, you threw out, man, far more than I knew. It sounded like 6 different Walmarts, 7 Walmarts.
Yeah. It's like the old song, I've been everywhere, man.
What, anything, are all of those in Arkansas? Because I didn't recognize all the towns you mentioned.
They are all in Northeast Arkansas, some are in the Delta. Forest City is about 40 minutes from Memphis. Blytheville is about the same. It's in the northeastern corner. There's the little hook up in the northeastern part of the state where the Missouri Boot Hill is, and Blytheville is located just up there close to that boot hill. Forest City is right there on I-40 that shoots across from Memphis straight to Little Rock. Jonesboro is located in the largest metro area in Northeast Arkansas. I think they've got like almost 80,000 residents. I mean, that's how big our town is.
So one of the comments that you made just a minute ago is you were talking about that is the destination. I mean, that's the goal. And associates, on the academy side, I see associates every single day who have goals all over the charts. I think that we often think that everybody's goal is home office or everyone's goal is store management. And there are so many jobs within Walmart, and people have different desires and goals in their lives. And so it's interesting to talk to different individuals, to hear different things. And so I want to say to you real quick, there are opportunities right now that you could take and be able to leave operations and go to the quote home office. But the reality is I'm appreciative that you're in operations, because we're able to see your gifts firsthand and experience those gifts and see you use those. And you get a really clear picture, like you said, the paperwork and all of the process that we go through. So we really understand how the store works. And sometimes there's a disconnect there, I think, that some people feel. And I think it's going to be encouraging when you continue to move forward with your goals because you've had this experience. So I'm actually appreciative. So I say thank you.
It's been an interesting journey, and that's Don't sweat the small stuff. There's always somebody who's having a worse day than you are, and having that attitude and always having that smile, no matter how rough somebody's day is, they're going to see that, and it's going to be infectious. I mean, there's already enough negative people in our world. We don't need any more of that. We need more positive. We need more encouraging leaders. We need more encouraging and positive associates. I mean, from the cashier all the way up to the store manager. Zachary said one of the best things I've ever heard. You can be the thermostat or you can be the thermometer. Do you want to set the temperature for the day, or do you want to react to things that are happening?
It's good stuff. I mean, it seems to be a common theme, and maybe it's the kind of individuals that Rise continues to draw, but positivity is what we're asking for. We're asking to see more associates share their encouragement, share their positivity, and like you just said, set the tone, set the temperature for your store. You can do it every single day in those first few steps as you walk in the door, resetting yourself and getting prepared for the day so that you know what the day is going to look like. What does the Walmart Spark mean to you?
The Walmart Spark to me is just an associate's imagination. Anything that you want to do, anything that you can do, Walmart gives you that avenue to do it. And to me, that's what the Spark means, is that there is an endless opportunity for your ideas, for your innovations, for your new processes that you think work better than what we've got.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us, Terrence, and everybody else. Stay tuned right after the bullet points of our lessons we learned today's conversation, because I'm going to give you some links all about what Terrence is up to, and more importantly, what associates like you can be doing to be active in your community and get involved. Find your passion and go after it full force, just like this guy. Thank you guys so much.